Imagine for a moment a world where slavery had never been challenged. A world where millions of people remained in chains, deprived of their dignity, treated as mere property, and reduced to instruments of labor. Now think about how different history became because a few leaders had the courage to say enough. Alexander II of Russia, Abraham Lincoln of the United States, and Princess Isabel of Brazil form a historic trio who, though separated by oceans, cultures, and circumstances, became immortal symbols of freedom. Their actions were not simply political decrees. They were milestones that reshaped civilization. Alexander II, remembered as the Tsar Liberator, dared to confront the archaic structures that bound millions of serfs. Lincoln, guided by faith and an unshakable moral compass, led America through its greatest trial and redeemed it through the abolition of slavery. And Isabel, with a pen that became a sword of justice, abolished slavery in Brazil, forever earning the title of the Redeemer. In this video, we will dive into the trajectory of these three giants, understand the greatness of their actions, and see how their courage still echoes today. So stay with me until the end, because the story you are about to hear is not only about the past, but about eternal values that still shape our present. Alexander II of Russia is celebrated by historians as one of the great reformers of the 19th century. In 1861, he signed the decree that freed more than 23 million serfs, who had lived in conditions nearly indistinguishable from slavery. Historian W. Ambrose Lincoln, The Great Reforms, describes this act as a decision that broke centuries of feudal tradition and opened the way toward a more modern and humane Russia. The weight of his choice cannot be overstated. Alexander II faced fierce resistance from an aristocracy that thrived on the exploitation of serf labor, yet he dared to reshape the very foundations of his empire. His vision was not to preserve privilege, but to expand human dignity. This decision not only freed millions, but also opened the path to educational, judicial, and military reforms. It is no exaggeration to say that Alexander II ignited a flame that forever changed Russian history. In the United States, Abraham Lincoln etched his name indelibly into the story of liberty. In 1863, at the height of the Civil War, he issued the Emancipation Proclamation, a document that forever changed the course of the American nation. Conservative historian Alan Gelso, in Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, The End of Slavery in America, explains that Lincoln saw slavery as a moral evil that corroded the soul of the Republic. He understood that it was not enough to fight merely for the preservation of the Union. It was necessary to redeem the nation through the abolition of slavery. His act transformed the war from a political conflict into a moral crusade, uniting the Union's sword with eternal principles of liberty. Lincoln was rightly called the Great Emancipator. His faith in equality before God, combined with his ability to translate lofty ideals into decisive political action, make him one of the greatest statesmen in history. His leadership proved to the world that moral courage can save an entire nation. In Brazil, courage shone through Princess Isabel. On May 13, 1888, she signed the Lei Áurea, the Golden Law, which abolished slavery once and for all. Historian Mary Del Priore reminds us that Isabel did not merely sign a law. She broke with the economic and social foundations upon which much of the elite of her time depended, and she did it without hesitation. Her decision was not driven by opportunism, but by deep conviction, rooted in her Catholic faith and strong sense of justice. By putting pen to paper, Isabel freed hundreds of thousands of people who, until then, had been regarded as property. The people hailed her instantly as the Redeemer. Her gesture aligned Brazil with the universal movement for human dignity. Though she lost the throne soon after, her moral courage remains eternal. Princess Isabel did not seek power for its own sake, but pursued truth, liberty, and justice. That is why her name still resonates as a symbol of heroism and compassion. Before we continue, let me invite you to subscribe to this channel if you believe history should be told with truth and courage. If you value the examples of leaders who risked everything to defend eternal principles, then click that subscribe button right now. Here, history is not just academic curiosity, but a living source of inspiration. Join us and be part of this community that keeps alive the great values of humanity. These three leaders share something in common: They did not let fear paralyze them. Alexander II could have preserved serfdom to please the nobility. Lincoln could have ignored slavery in the name of an easy peace. Isabel could have bowed to the economic elite who depended on slavery, but none of them chose the easy road. Each, in their own way, sacrificed popularity, stability, and even personal safety to do what was right. Alexander II was assassinated in a bombing. Lincoln fell to an assassin's bullet, and Isabel was forced into exile. Their destinies revealed that freedom always carries a price, but it is precisely that price that makes great heroes eternal. The historian Paul Johnson, in modern times, wrote, "Without moral courage, there is no progress worth celebrating." That statement perfectly sums up the legacy of these three names. Alexander II dared to challenge a centuries-old tradition. Lincoln risked the unity of the Republic to save America's soul. Isabel lost the throne but gained an eternal place in the hearts of the freed. These leaders did not merely govern. They authored decisive chapters of human history, and they did so reminding us that liberty, dignity, and justice are values that cannot be negotiated. As we reach the end of this journey, the message is clear. Freedom is never granted without sacrifice. Alexander II freed millions and ushered Russia into a new era. Lincoln redeemed the United States and set the nation on a path of moral renewal. Isabel abolished slavery in Brazil and became an everlasting symbol of compassion and bravery. They prove that the greatness of a leader is measured not by the interests of the present, but by the good they secure for future generations. So here is my question for you. If they had the courage to change the destiny of their nations, do we not also carry the responsibility to honor their legacy? Let the stories of Alexander II, Abraham Lincoln, and Princess Isabel inspire us to defend human dignity, liberty, and the values that sustain truly just societies. Until the next video.